A man is facing federal charges after he tried to ride across the Atlantic Ocean in a giant hamster wheel.
I mean, what else can you even say in an introduction to that? I mean, a man literally has taken a giant floating hamster wheel made of buoys and wire across the ocean.
The Coast Guard spotted Reza Baluchi 70 miles off the coast of Tybee Island, Georgia, last month.
Now, it might come as a shock to absolutely nobody that this guy is from Florida, so he is a certified Florida man. So yeah, this is actually fairly recent. This was like, honestly, at the time that I'm making this video, like 2 weeks ago or so, and he decided he was going to take a voyage on the ocean. And not only, is taking any voyage on the ocean something extravagant, unless you're like flying it over in a plane or something like that, but he decided to do it in a big hamster bubble. But you will not believe where his destination is.
He told them he was on his way to England.
Brother was on his way to London, England. That's a 4,000 mile distance. He had to travel 4,000 miles across an ocean in a hamster bubble, in which he manually crawled in it and moved. This is insane. This is 4,000 miles. Unfortunately, the Coast Guard was preparing for Hurricane Franklin and determined that he was conducting a manifestly unsafe voyage, whatever that means in nerdy terms. So they approached him in a small boat and came up to him and was like, hey, you can't do this anymore. You gotta go back. It's dangerous. How does Baluchi respond?
It took officials 5 days to persuade him to come to shore.
And not only did it take the Coast Guards 5 days to convince him, he also in that time pulled out a 12-inch knife that he said he would eliminate himself if the officers attempted to get him out of the hamster wheel. He literally threatened to eliminate himself if he was removed from the hamster bubble. He is dedicated. So it took them 5 days to convince him. But that's not the only threat he made in that hamster bubble.
At one point, he apparently threatened to blow himself up.
He threatened to just boom. Just blow it all up, like C4, just boom. A literal, floating explosive device. It's insane. I'm surprised it's not like a war crime at this point. I mean, just a floating explosive device. It seems like it would be a little bit dangerous, or some countries would be worried about it. Especially since he's going from the United States to England, which is a separate country. But yeah, he held wires in his hand, and the Coast Guard officers believed him. But apparently, he later on said that it wasn't real, and it was all just to get them to leave him alone. Literally the next day, though, they gave him food and water and warned him that the hurricane was coming or whatever, but he still refused to leave his hamster bubble. Finally, they got him to leave the hamster bubble, which ended up on Miami Beach, and they released him on a $250,000 bond for spinning in a hamster wheel in the ocean. And while the case is underway, he's legitimately banned from travel outside the Southern District of Florida, and he may not go to the ocean, so he can't even visit the ocean, nor, travel on the ocean, which makes a little bit more sense, but he's not even allowed near the ocean. He has a restraining order from water. Oh, but you think that's the end of the story, don't you? Oh no, because this isn't the first time that this has happened.
When a mysterious device washed up on the beach in Florida, authorities were stumped. But the floating hamster wheel-looking contraption was actually occupied by this man.
You cannot make every people happy. Some people jealousy, some people just make a drama queen.
Because all the way back in 2014, yes, that's right, as early as 2014, he's been doing the exact same thing. Legitimately like Forrest Gump running that freaking marathon across the United States multiple times. He's done the same thing because he's actually completed the voyage twice. From coast to coast, country to country, continent to continent, insane.
Reza Baluchi was actually on a journey. He set out in his homemade hydropod and planned to walk on water up the East Coast all the way to New York. But he hit a snag when his team alerted him that his tracking device wasn't working. So he came ashore to get another one, and that's when the commotion started.
And one of my favorite quotes from him goes, "If you drive a boat, nobody cares, but a bubble, nobody did before." I mean, I could honestly just live by that as my life's motto. It makes actually a lot of sense, but it just shows that his pure determination trumps over everything, including his safety. But apparently somebody, a boater, found him in the ocean, and he was asking for directions to the Bermuda Triangle. Bro has no idea where he's going. He is asking for directions while he's just shipped himself out on the ocean in a big bubble. So of course, Sector Miami gets involved because the boater guy calls in and is like, hey, there's some dude in a big hamster bubble that's asking where the Bermuda Triangle is. I don't know if I should have given the instructions to that. Yeah, and so I guess he just heads out to the Bermuda Triangle.
So I worried some people here, they'll come and say, oh, they give me a hard time, Police come in, let's call Coast Guard.
He's since decided to change his plans. Instead of walking to New York, he's going to set off from Bermuda and go all the way to London and then on to Portugal. It's going to be a long, lonely journey, but one he's looking forward to.
Eventually, a cold front knocked him over in his bubble, so just kind of flipped him off. and then, not like flipped off with like the finger, but you know what I mean. It flipped the vessel over, and the Coast Guard went and rescued him from there, but it's because it set off like some sort of signal flare or whatever. But he said that it was launched on accident, but I feel like he actually wanted the help but didn't want to admit it. Because throughout all of this, he refuses to ask for any help. He says he has his own stuff. He has his own little movie laptop that he can watch movies on. He has food. He has water. He's got AC. He says he's got everything and he doesn't need help. He just wants to be a man alone by himself, just cruising on a bubble through the ocean. And I mean, mad respect. He just wants to be by himself. He's creating a message. He's creating these lovely, wonderful quotes. Just let him be, man.
I want to show people your mind is strong, you can do it. I want to show these people sit on the chair, sit on the couch, drink a beer, decide for me what I must do. You know, this is not their business, it's what I must do. This is my life, this is my dream. They say, oh, why they do this? Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't care what people like it.
And he also said that he kept like lights and life jackets on there, so he would have been perfectly fine or whatever. But yeah, he did get saved. And then afterwards, as an insult to injury, they legitimately sank the bubble because it was a hazard to navigation. And then probably the saddest quote of the bunch comes from him, where he goes, "They shot, they sink my bubble." I mean, that just breaks my heart. I just learned about this story like an hour ago when I was researching for this video, and that still breaks my heart reading it. And this one, he goes, "No more bubble I have." Dude, it hurts. Like, I'm getting chills. I feel bad. He just wanted to be a man with this bubble in the ocean.
Baluchi says he's raising money for organizations that support the homeless, and he hopes people will follow along with him.
And apparently, for the amount of effort and work that the Coast Guard put in and all the stuff they did, it cost taxpayers $144,000, which I don't know if they really had to use that much money to get the guy out of a hamster bubble, but I don't know if they were using that on like lunch at like Olive Garden or something. There is no way that cost that much, but yeah, apparently taxpayers pay for that, so that's good to know. And then in 2021, he came back and simply said, "I'm going to New York," in which the Coast Guard replied with, "No, you're not. Please stop doing this. I mean, you've done this in 2014, 2016, 2021. He just keeps coming back. This is like his fourth time, and he just keeps trying to cross the ocean. He's done it twice before, so I don't know what he wants. He should be satisfied. He has crossed this ocean twice. I genuinely have no clue what the goal here is, but I guess he's just gonna cross it as many times as he feels like is necessary, and he has not reached what he deems is necessary. And I guess going across the ocean was enough, so now he's going across the country in the ocean, so he's going from Florida to New York. I don't know. But either way, he faced charges of obstruction of boarding and a violation of the captain of the port of order. So yeah, kind of a sad, happy story. I'm sure he'll do it again. I mean, this is like, what, he's done it 4 times. He'll just come back out for his 5th, maybe like next year or something like that. He's gonna try and do it again. It's just what he loves to do. You can't stop a man from doing what he loves to do. Speaking of that, this is something that I love to do. So if you want to support me, in which you already have technically by making it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. You could also leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join channel memberships and Discord, both are linked in the description. And there'll be more of my videos on screen that you should enjoy. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.